so mad the other day. I broke a belt last Sunday. I went down first thing Monday morning because they said they had one online, but anyways, new person there. So they get there. Well, we can't get one. So I said, well, emergency next day. I said, we'll have it Tuesday, 11 o'clock. So I'm driving down. I said, well, I'm gonna call up the hardware store. It's the same thing. Anyways, we found one in Frankenmuth. So I call back there within an hour and said, cancel that. So Tuesday I'm running at 4 o'clock we got your bell then. And it's like, dude, I just talked to you guys. You're supposed to cancel that. Well, we'll put it on the shelf, but who's gonna end up paying that emergency shipping cost, which is $100 and some bucks. But this is like, it's like you should have told me that they had one on Frankenmuth. That's how it works. But anyways,
In there.
okay, I have 9 o'clock. So at this time, I'd like to call to order the Isabel County Commissioners Criminal Justice and County Affairs Committee meeting. First up, we have the agenda. Is there any changes to the agenda or additions or subtractions? Excuse me.
I have none.
Okay, seeing none, we'll go ahead and accept the agenda as presented. Call to the public. I do not see anybody physically in the rooms. Is there anybody online or?
There is not at this time, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, there will be another opportunity towards the end of the meeting for public comment, and we will do that. So moving right on to agenda item, excuse me. Well, first up, we have consider approving the non-secular contract for residential service in Isabella County Trial Court and McBride Quality Care for 1 year, October 1st, 2023 through September 30th, 2024, at a total cost of $315,000, with portions of the contractual cost reimbursement through the Child Care Fund, and authorize the board chair to sign the same. And I know we have Court Administrator Curtis here, and you're the only one here, so you must be going to do this.
Yes. Good morning.
Good morning.
You've heard a lot about non-secure, but you have not seen a contract. So we have been operating on that gentleman's agreement for many, many years. And we recently had a child care fund audit, and they told us what we already knew. We needed a contract. So we've been working, Nicole and I and legal and McBride have been working on getting this contract together for months. So here we are with a 1 year contract that identifies the amount that of that contract for the next year. We used to try to do 3-year agreements, even though they weren't in writing, but with the current climate of juvenile detention and the changing of the jail and maybe some discussion of other items, we decided that a 1 year was most appropriate. So that's what I'm bringing to you today. It has been vetted through legal. Judge Janes has signed off on it, as has McBride.
And the monies are budgeted in the fiscal year 24 budget. There's no surprises there with the amounts.
So I got to ask this. How is the Child Care Fund going right now?
So the Child Care Fund is doing very well. The issue that we are starting to experience is really isolated to this the operation of non-secure. Because it's not a program, it's considered a detention or a residential type of facility, so it's reimbursed differently. So we are working through the issues that we have with the state on reimbursement. And that issue really comes down to that the county owns the building and operates the program, but we contract with McBride for the day-to-day operations. So that makes it a bit tricky as far as the Child Care Fund is concerned. So we're getting some different opinions from them on what they're going to reimburse and what they're not. That's why there's no specific percentage in there of 50%, because they're not going to reimburse probably all of it, but we're still trying to work through all of that with them. And hopefully we can come to an agreement to get them to do that.
So would this contract be considered a public-private arrangement, or we go that far?
I think we would call it that. I mean, it's a contractual arrangement, but certainly public and private working together towards the same end goal, but there's money changing hands, right? So partnership is formalized with a capital P maybe.
I've noticed that there's like with the Murph, we've been going through there's like 8 different types of
Yeah,
arrangements you can create to do this, and that was one of them, so.
yeah. And you know, Carrie and I have started those initial talks, right? If the state might offer more reimbursement, if a county employee were to run that facility, you know, we need to put the pencil to that, right? And see if it's worthwhile for us to create that position, pay that position. Do we get enough reimbursement to pay
do
for
it.
that?
Mhm.
Make it worthwhile, but the increases in the childcare reimbursement rates you're talking about, as Carrie said, don't apply to this piece,
Mhm.
right? Mhm.
So you're saying if there was an employee, do you know what percent might be paid?
Did you hear that, Carrie? That's
I
a,
did. So that's what we're trying to get them to define for us. So we're under the opinion that if there is a county employee operating the facility, then we would also have to get the license, which McBride carries that now, but that we could make it a county operated facility in contract, perhaps with McBride for the remaining staff and the other day-to-day operations, which would then, in our opinion, make it 50% reimbursable across the board. But we cannot get the state to commit to that at this point, so we're still trying to work through that. They have a lot of turnover down there. And a lot of new legislation and rules are changing, so that also kind of has not been great for the conversations, but we're still working on whether that would make us eligible for the whole program to be 50% reimbursable.
How difficult is it to get our own contract then as county?
To get our own licensing and operate it entirely. I don't know, Midland does that, so we have been in some initial discussions with them about that. It would not be cost effective for us, we know that out of the gate, to have all of the employees on our staff with benefits and all of that. It would, even with reimbursement, it would be more county out of pocket than what we're paying McBride.
Yeah, I guess I was asking with your view of it, where we have the license, McBride is on site doing the work through contract. Because to get a full 50%, we have to have the license, was my understanding from your earlier.
That is our opinion on it. We have not been able to get the state to commit to that
Mhm.
because it's not really clear in their handbook. And we've been working with them for months now, but again, one of their main people went to another position, so then you have to basically start all over. I know the licensing has some pretty stringent requirements. I don't think it's anything we can't overcome if that will help us along the way. I also think that McBride would be able and willing, because they've always been great community partners, to help us figure out how to do that.
Mhm. Okay. Thank you. Maybe it's something to keep on. Obviously, you're working on it, so we'll keep going in that direction and looking at.
Question.
Yeah. All right.
I don't have any more.
Nothing more. I'm just gonna do this the easy way. I make motion. I move to move item number 4 to the Board of Commissioners meeting on next Tuesday.
I will support that. Is there any more discussion? Seeing none, we'll proceed to vote. All in favor, say aye. Aye, opposed, same. That has passed, and we'll move this forward to the work session. Okay, we've
Curtis is up for the next one too, is consider approving the contract for day treatment operation between Isabella County Trial Court and the McBride Quality Care for 1 year, October 1st, 2023 through September 30th, 2024, at a total cost of $516,000 with 75% of the cost reimbursement through the Child Care Fund, and authorize the board chair to sign the same. Okay, I think talked about the difference in the 15 to 75, but you probably gonna have to go over that again and how that came about. I know we talked about it, but
Right, so the law changed, and it's all part of this juvenile reform, some of which is associated with those 17-year-olds now being juveniles versus adults. Used to be when they were 17, they became adults. So now they're under the juvenile code. So all part of that big package was this additional reimbursement of the child care fund to help offset all kinds of additional costs, some of which are those 17-year-olds, but it's not isolated to those. So because day treatment is a program, this will make you very happy, Commissioner Engler. It's going to be reimbursed at 75%. So it has been 50 over the years. So that 75% will come back to the county for the entire cost of that 516,000. So that is great news. That's also good. The same with a lot of our in-home care programs and those kinds of things that we brought to you a month or two ago, I think. So that is, you know, again, it's a 1 year. You haven't seen this in my tenure because it was the same, that gentleman's agreement that had been very successful for many years. But, you know, audits don't like those. So we need to get them formalized. So here we are.
pretty hard to argue with the 75% return on your investment or in your cost share for what we get for our money. So I don't have any questions.
Is that audit by the state or is that a private that we?
It is the state that comes in and audits that child care fund program that we have, and they look at, you know, all of our policies, all our procedures. They ask for all of the contracts. It's a pretty intense audit and it changes every time they do it. So that is a bit frustrating for us because we've had multiple audits prior to now and they've never required a contract, though I think I can't disagree with the fact that we need one. So, yeah.
I know you probably don't have a number on here, but how much did it cost the state with this to put that extra 17-year-old down under, you know, you look at, they're throwing 75% in there. It's gotta be a number. It's kind of scary.
Right. I don't know the number, but I do know that it's not just for these 17-year-olds. It's part of that whole package. And obviously, if, you know, if we're getting the amount we're getting as an extra 25%, it's millions and millions and millions of dollars.
Gotta be big, especially get down to the Detroit Flint area. The numbers gotta be astronomical, so.
Right. And it doesn't apply to any residential. So any kids that are sent to any kind of placement where they spend the night, that's at the 50% still.
Okay,
I had no more questions.
I don't have any questions.
All right. I'll make a motion to move item number 5 to the Board of Commissioners meeting next Tuesday.
I will support that. Excuse me. Is there any more discussion on this topic? Seeing none, we'll proceed to vote. All in favor, signify by aye. Aye, oppose the same. That has passed. We will move that forward to work session. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank-
Have a good day.
Thank you.
Okay, that brings us up to announcements. Any announcements? We're good there, yeah,
And announce a special meeting.
yeah, yeah, yep, soon.
Alright.
I'm running on fumes, so I'm not gonna be quiet.
Mhm.
Is there any, it's called to the public, I see nobody physically in the room here, is there anybody online or on the phone at this time?
It is not at this time, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, seeing that, I will close the call to the public, and at this time, I will adjourn the meeting. Thank you.
Thank you.